y'all? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Truth Carpet. We are so happy to have you tuned in because now your ears are listening to us.
Yes.
Favorite podcast bestie duo, Love Loud LLC. It is me, Simone Loud, and as always, I am joined by Miss Thing right here.
Shakita Banana.
We're back to that.
Yes, we are. That was unplanned. I should have said Shakita Strawberry because I don't think. Strawberry, blueberry. My name is Unique Love, but I go by Yaya on the podcast and in life in general. So yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
I was gonna say I'm here and I'm queer.
Girl, you've been watching a lot of P-Valley. Is that from that?
Anywho, welcome.
Almost choked on my water.
We have so much into you. Okay?
I thought you were so excited to have me when you said we're so excited to have you, but you mean the people listening?
Yes.
We're
so excited to have you tuned in today. I'm also excited to have you here by my side as always.
Thank you.
We have some great things in store for y'all today to have your red day.
Okay.
But before we get into that, we gotta check in. Baby, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm here with my best friend, y'all. I got my nails done. My wig is on secure. And I got henna on my hand. We had such a great weekend, y'all. I'm just so happy. Like, I was worried about this weekend or this week, whenever y'all listening, because I was like, oh my God, it's so like, it's jam-packed with things that we have to do, but it's just been so much fun. Like, right. I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
I don't want to either. Oh my goodness. But we got plenty to make and some, I guess.
But yeah, I feel really great. I'm just excited about this episode, excited to get into the poetry, excited to get into the content, excited to learn some new things. I'm just happy. Okay? Mary J, if you're listening, I just want to be so happy. But the answer lies with me. I'm happy. How are you feeling?
Oh my God. I feel great.
She feels good. She knew that she would.
Right. Yes, I did. I feel rejuvenated.
Okay.
You know,
you look good. You look good.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. As Yaya said, it has been a really fun, great weekend. You know what I'm saying? I have to tell the story because it's going to make me laugh for the rest of my life.
I know what she's gonna say.
Me and Yaya went to the mall yesterday. What's the name of the store again? I can't remember the name of the store.
I can't remember.
It's some store I had never been into before, but we went in there and it had some jeans on sale for $10. Okay.
$9.99.
Okay, $9.90.
Oh yeah.
$10, right? I was like, oh, we can't pass up no sale, but because of the sizing, it's like
it was like the numbers, like a boy pants. That's how boy pants be. We girls, we like whatever. We know sizes like 8, 6, 10,
12, like that. So we like, well, how are we supposed to know? I told you I didn't put the pants around the neck to see if that was a size for her, but then we had an associate come over and y'all wanted to be measured. I make sure that she didn't try on the right size pants on. Man, they had no measurement tape. And he was like, oh, but we have a dressing room. She's like, yeah, I know, but we being late. I don't want to be measured. So she goes, of course. Let me go get the measurement tape.
But it wasn't like he was saying, of course, as if like, you know, like Chick-fil-A, they be like, my pleasure. Like, it wasn't like, of course, like that. It was like, we lazy. Of course.
Of course you're being lazy. You're making me do extra work by having to go get this measuring tape
to
measure your weight.
When you got a dress on, you could just slide the pants on. Like, I was like,
we did have dresses on. We could just went to the dressing room.
Right. I was like, this was just dumbfounded, like just standing there, like, should I be offended? Is he saying that because I'm black? Like,
and then she wanted to leave the space. And like, you know what? I'm gonna just go to the dressing room. Like, you made that man go back to get that measurement tape. So you need to stand here and wait for him to come back to measure.
It was such a Generation Z response. I was just like, I couldn't say nothing.
No, it literally was
of course. In the face too. Like if you're not watching the podcast, it was the facial expression that he gave.
Did you really want me to go over there and get this measurement tape when the dressing room is right?
But he had like this little apron thing around, and I saw little numbers and stuff. So I thought that was a measurement tape. That's why I asked. But he was like, I will get it. I was like, okay, yeah, because we lazy. Of course. That's the name of the podcast. Of course.
But yes, that was hilarious to me. That's gonna make me giggle until the older days. I saw this post on Instagram the other day. This old lady was answering the phone. It was like me and my best friend when we get old.
Oh my God.
And she answered the phone. She's like, "Hello," and on the other end, the other old lady is just laughing, and she's like, "I ain't got time for that shit today. Don't be calling me laughing." She's like, "All right, bye." And she kept giggling and she hung up. And that was all.
Lord,
I ain't got time for this shit today. Don't call me laughing. She was like, all right, bye.
Oh my God, my cheeks hurt. It's too early in the podcast for this.
Hey, look, we bringing joy on the true carpet, okay? Shoot, they need to be in tune and laughing with us. We got, people might be going through something. They tuning into us so they can get that laughing, so they can get that tea, okay?
Yes.
So we are happy.
This is our sponsor.
Yes, the mug here. You can find this mug at loveloud.com in the shop. This is our best tea mug. On it, it says, from my best tea for my best tea.
Get it? You can put anything in there.
And I sip.
Yes. But anyway, I'm glad that we're both doing well right now.
Right.
The weather's still nice. It's hot, but
that's why I'm dressed like this.
I'm not gonna complain.
And I still want to dress like it's summertime before it gets too chilly for me to be looking this good, okay?
Yeah.
Because I've been in the gym.
Working on her fitness.
Yes.
My beads.
What about your beads? What beads?
My beads that go around my waist.
Yes.
They dropped, y'all.
Ooh, you know what that means?
Yes, that means
this is down.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so happy because I've been feeling like this might sound bad, but I've been feeling fat. Like I feel like my gut sits on my lap. Like it be feeling like Noah or now is sitting on my lap. Like it's just my gut is sitting on my lap.
In my lap.
Yeah, like it's just so uncomfortable. My clothes weren't fitting, like they fit, but they tight, and I don't like it super tight. So that, and then also I work in a place where there's a lot of hills, not San Francisco, but somewhere else. There's a lot of hills, and just the way that I'm panting. When I didn't pant like that before, I would just be jolly and like getting up that hill. But now I'm like, I gotta take a break. I just started walking. I gotta take a break to get up the hill. So just, getting back to pre-COVID me where I was excited to go to the gym and excited to wear my workout clothes, and just it was a part of my lifestyle, and I will feel weird. Not bad, but I'll feel weird if I missed a workout.
Yeah.
So
I understand you on that because that's where I'm at now. But then sometimes I have to remind myself like the reason why I'm not going today. Like you don't feel it. You can't go to the gym today. But when I started being consistent and like 3-4 times a week, like it feels good. Like especially when I push myself those mornings, I'm like, I don't feel like going. Then actually being in there, getting my workout in, my body's feeling good, blood's flowing, heart is pumping. I'm like, yes, this is why I come to the gym. So when I feel good, I look good from the inside out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It
really shows. It radiates and your beads drop. So
yes.
I don't know how many beads I have on now, but I took them off because they were so tight. And then someone in my life was like, you look smaller. Because like people that see you every day, they may not notice that, or they may not say anything. But sometimes when it's a period and that person sees you and they're like, you look smaller. And I was like, I know what could tell me if I really got smaller. Like, I don't know if you're saying that because I work out or whatever, but I know what could tell me. I went and got one bead and I was like, okay. Put the other one on. Okay. The next one. Like, I'm so excited because I remember before when I had it on, me and my cousin, we were on FaceTime, and she was like, girl, your beads never fit like that before because it was so tight and it was like a ponytail holder on my stomach. I was like, don't be talking about me, but like, like they didn't fit that way. So I did get bigger. So I like the beads that they kind of like help you know what your adjustments and everything are. So I'm feeling proud that way too. And I think it is radiating from how I feel about myself, and it's showing outward. Yeah,
and I'm proud of you too, boo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Getting it in. That's what we're doing. We're taking care of ourselves.
And it helps too that you're one of my accountability partners, just getting the screenshots from you, or hey, I'm going to the gym. It's like, she going to the gym, she can't beat me. I'm going to the gym too, you know?
Get in the gym.
Right, like I gotta
see how many calories I can burn.
Right, like dang, Simone got 530. I only got 4. I'm gonna do better next time. So, you know, it's really good to have people in your life that motivate you and that remind you of that you're doing good. Because sometimes you might feel sick. It's okay, you know, you can go next time.
Exactly. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Right.
But still work on yourself.
Yeah, in any capacity. It may not be your weight or anything like that. It could be something else. Whatever that workout, whatever you're working on, sorry, or goal that you have, go for it.
Absolutely. All right. Ooh, you know what we're heading to right now? Yes, I'm about to run it on down so y'all can know what to expect in this here episode. So, campus rundown going a little something like this.
Okay.
Coming on over into the icebreaker, we are going to be playing a game of questions where Yaya and I will be going back and forth, doing a little flashback to the game that we played back in 2008. The game where we met.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the question game. So tune in that section. Y'all will see how that's about to go down. Then heading over into Suite 223. We got our CAU brother Errio coming back with a fire piece. Okay, y'all gotta make sure y'all tune in for this one. If you heard him on this last episode, then you know this episode is gonna be spicy, it's gonna be hot, and the conversation is gonna be flowing. Then heading on over into our hot topic segment, coming into the cab with us, taking a sip, having a little something to eat, spilling the tea on real tea.
Yes.
We had Justin Wright, another CAU brother.
Yes.
Can't wait to have him drop this knowledge on y'all about the world of getting a home, y'all. Y'all definitely want to tune into this. This topic it's hot. It's spicy.
It's sizzling.
Educating. Your brain is going to be full.
Can I say something? I know that's not my part.
Go ahead.
But like really, y'all, everybody, I don't care how you're living right now, everybody needs to hear this interview with Justin. Like, I have my questions ready, and I don't even think I needed to have the questions. Like, please tune in. Please, if you don't do nothing else today, listen to the interview with Justin. Like, you may be thinking one way about how you're living, or you may be thinking that you know everything about what you're planning, but I thought I knew. You thought you knew.
Too.
Tune in. All right, I'm done. Finish your rundown. Let me drink my water.
Thank you. Now, then heading on over into the dorm story segment, Yaya and I are going to be discussing our journey with getting our first place. Okay, and then all the way at the end, we have our community news segment where we are going to be giving you everything that you need to know, whether that's an announcement or what the question of the month is, or what prizes you can win. Just tune in for the whole episode. Some of y'all know some of y'all be skipping ahead to your favorite part, but this is the episode that you should tune from beginning all the way to the end.
Really.
All right.
It's fire.
Fire.
Even if you don't listen to it all today, we on YouTube, we on Spotify, we everywhere.
You can pause and come back.
Pause and come back. Hey.
All right. So now we're gonna head on over into our icebreaker.
Okay, y'all, we are now in another segment, which is our icebreaker segment. As Simone said earlier, this is how we met in 2008 when we were in our freshman orientation group.
Yes.
We played an icebreaker. Yes. It's a questions game. Yes. If you didn't hear about the question games before, I was waiting for you to say yes again.
Oh, yes.
If you haven't heard of this game, it's basically in general life, if somebody asks you a question, you answer. But this game, you don't want to answer. You just want to go back and forth with questions.
Asking
all them questions. Assume that. So we're gonna play that game, and you can tell the loser by the person who responds to the question, or if it's a break, like a laugh or something like that. Like it's some hesitation, like that game. Yes. So I want to get comfortable because my leg has been bothering me, y'all. So I'm gonna sit like this. Okay. So I'm gonna start.
All right, here we go.
And
I'm not.
It doesn't matter. There's no prep. There's no paper in front of us. All right, ready?
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's your zodiac sign?
What color is your eyes?
What's your boyfriend's name?
Where do you live?
What's your
Do
nationality?
you have a boyfriend?
No. Wait, can't go for another round. Simone won because I was about to answer. I was like, Simone, why you answering me? Ask me that on the podcast. Oh, God. Okay.
All right, we're gonna do another round.
You start.
All right, here we go. What color is the sky?
Where do you work?
Who's your sister?
I like your earrings.
Do you have a brother?
That wasn't a question.
How many nephews do you
I'm
have?
still going. You. I said I like your earrings, and that wasn't a question.
I wasn't even paying attention.
I suck. Oh my gosh, should we go one more time?
She was better at this in college because I lost.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't look at you. Okay, one more time.
All right, let's do it again.
Are you gonna get your nails done?
I'm getting my.
Y'all, we tried. We're not gonna hold y'all.
That wasn't even words. I'm gonna have to play that back to me. What did I try to say?
Oh my God. So typically it lasts longer, but we're not gonna hold y'all because we have some great content, some great guests on our podcast today.
Just try to say.
We will listen back to this episode a little later to
Maybe
see.
y'all could somebody translate what I tried to add.
Put the words on the bottom of what Simone said.
Another language. That was not English.
Is Simone speaking English?
Am I? Gibberish. I'm an alien superstar, so I have my own language.
Yes. Thank you for tuning into our podcast.
Sweet, straight to the point.
Hello.
We're gonna have to play this again another time.
Yeah, next episode we're gonna try again.
Yes.
And now we're gonna get Jesus.
Now you know you can't even say regular sentences. What are you gonna say?
Okay. Now we're gonna move on to Sweet 223.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Sweet 223 segment. We are so excited because this Sweet 223 is special.
Yes.
For the first time in the same season, we got a poet back for the second time. Y'all some fire, some fresh fire.
Yes.
The last fire was so hot, we had to bring it back again to set it off.
No, the last one was so hot that I kept playing it over and over again. It was like, damn, like we have to have him back. Bring it back.
That poetry truth back to the carpet.
Yeah.
Boy, Ayo, we are so excited to have you back.
So excited.
CAU family, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. Y'all hit me up and I was like, oh yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. They're my dogs right there. I can't wait.
Aww.
So yeah, man. Last time it was fun. I always love kicking with y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's always a good time.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this piece.
Right.
Yeah. So it's pretty much kind of like an entertainment piece. It's one of my favorite ones. It's just kind of like something goofy for real,
Okay.
but I hope you like it. So yeah. All right, y'all ready? Y'all want me to kick it off now? All right, cool. I'll kick it off now. Okay.
We're like a fan now. Like.
Y'all silly, man. Y'all so silly. All right. So it's called My Occupation. And so I got the piece from I used to watch Def Poetry Jam, and it was this one dude named Gemini, and he made a poem about like poetry. He made a poem about how he felt about poetry, how he can just pretty much like create anything just through writing or whatever like that. So it's kind of one of those little fun pieces. It's called My Occupation. Kick it off. All right. So I met this chick, right? And she like one of them extra pretty, high maintenance, high sedity. If you're driving a Benz, you can't grab a titty type chicks, right? So I'm like, all right. So in spite of my 1998 Honda Civic sitting outside, I spit game anyway, because on any day, I'm going to play it its best. So I dust off my shoes, fix my shirt, broaden my chest. I step to it with a mean swag. Most girls might ask, what made you approach me, or what's your motivation? She asked me about my credit history, my mortgage, my household population. So at this time, it's getting kind of hot. So I'm like, all right, it's time to dip. And guess what her next question was? She asked about the whip. Dang. But I'm an honest man, so I'm truthful of her asking. So I just step back and look at her and say, oh, it's a classic. You see, I ain't lie. I just broke through a motivation. And the last question of all was, she said, what's your occupation? I told her what I do, God only made a chosen few. He took divinity and rhythm and made them fuse and created us from the minds of Langston Hughes. Fed us knowledge from Shakespeare's plate and masked our minds with the style of William Blake. Paved our way so we wouldn't seem lost. And when we did, he placed us on the trail of Robert Frost. And at any cost, I could speak 1,000 lines and change the thoughts of 1,000 minds. Make time rewind, expose things sublime, make any dull moment sharp as a porcupine. I'm a magician with similes and a prophet with metaphors. A bright light with a mic that you can't ignore. I can make you feel as high as a kite or as low as the floor. I can make a poor man feel rich or Bill Gates feel poor. I can make reality folklore. I can do things you only imagine. I could shake hands with mystical creatures. I can fly with dragons. I can travel outer space without a spaceship and tiptoe across the stars, or race the rings around Saturn, or breathe the air on Mars. You see, I possess the power to make the past present, to what political officials detest. I can take us back to the times of protest, when blacks marched before dark so they can see our color. When the group of strong black men made the white man shudder. When the group of strong black men made the white girl stutter. Her butterflies bubble and her mind clutters with lustful thinking. I can walk across the Pacific without sinking. Not saying that I'm the Christ, but with the pen and pad, I can change the path of the afterlife. Speak 2 words and change the whole world, or one race and end racism, or put all our minds on one accord and practice one religion. And that religion will be called love. Because if we had that, nothing else will matter. I can raise hell to where the lights see no longer. I can save souls, stop crime, and end world hunger. You see, my occupation has limit to no end. And my heart is a notebook, and through these veins run ink from a pen. And most people will label me as a starving artist, but for my style, you never know it. I'm anything I want to be. In short, baby, I'm a poet. So she just looked at me, and all I can do was wonder. She said, basically, you ain't got no money, and I still ain't get the number.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a little.
Yo, whole time
I thought she was gonna, like, that was smooth. I thought she was gonna, like, oh, that shit, hit my number. She's gonna get in a car.
Like, boy, you ain't got no money. You just writing poetry.
I was like, occupation and stuff. Sounds like playing with words. Okay?
Yeah.
The words was smooth, like smooth talker. Okay?
Right. Panties right off.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
What is it? Sapio?
Yes. Sapiosexual.
There you go. Yeah.
You see what I am? I was panties right off. Where the money at?
Where the money at?
That was really good is not even the word. That was perfect. I loved it so much. Like,
appreciate y'all.
Go ahead, Monie.
I love the storytelling of it. Like, you literally took us on a journey.
Yeah.
You know how you came across this chick and now she want to know all about shoes.
It's real too.
Right. I was literally just thinking like, yo, I just went on a date the other day and I was asking these same questions. So what do you do? Right. We need to have a conversation. Who are you?
Right.
Bro. Right. Right. No, that's real, man. So you come. Hey, I remember being in school and ain't having no money. Just think you got all the game in the world, and then you live in Atlanta, so you think you got game, but these dudes riding around the Limbos, they beat you out every time. So, yeah, man. But yeah, it's a little fun piece. I like it, bro.
I loved it. That was amazing. Well, you already hit you said that you were a fan of someone, I think you said Gemini on Death.
His name. Yeah, Death Poetry Jam, man. So I don't know if he still do poetry, but it was so long ago. I'm talking about, this is probably like early 2000s, probably like 2001, 2002. So, you know what I'm saying? It's quite a while, but it's on there. It's on YouTube. You can find him, Gemini. It's called Penny for Your Thoughts, actually. That's the name of the poem. Yeah, it's called Penny for Your Thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, he hard. He got a lot of hard stuff. So, Gemini, yeah, he dope. So.
And when you wrote this specific piece, like, is this something that happened to you in some form of fashion? To the inspiration of like,
have I been in, well, I guess, okay, so the question is, have I been in a scenario where a girl wanted to know if I had some money and I ain't had no money? Yeah. So funny story. I moved to Memphis. I had moved back to Memphis from Atlanta. And my dad had this Jeep Commando, I think it's Commander. It was a Jeep Commander. It's real nice. It was all gold. It looked like a Hummer, but it ain't a Hummer, but it looked good though. You know what I'm saying? And so I ain't had no car at the time, you know, and so it was a school that I was going to called the University of Memphis, and I was driving my dad's car going to school, you know, and I pulled up, and this young lady was trying to talk to me, and I got her number, and I left, and I was like, I wonder if she think this my car. She did think it was my car. So I ain't write it based off that, but that is a time in my past where it was like, dang, I kind of flexed a little bit. Like, she probably think it's mine.
Like, oh, he about to be picking me up and taking me.
Right.
She got a car, girl.
Telling her
No,
friends about
ma'am.
it and everything. Yeah.
No, ma'am, I gotta ask for that. I gotta ask for that. Dad, can I see your keys, please? Yeah.
Just borrow the car.
Nah.
Right. How does that make
Yeah,
you
man.
feel on the spot? So, like, I know for me, I'm more timid opposed to
Yeah.
other women who are like the women in your poem.
Yeah.
I would like wonder those things in my head, like
Uh-huh.
what's going on with his car, what, like, you
Yeah.
know, things like that. But I won't say it out loud until maybe sometime after. But as a guy,
Yeah.
what does it feel like being asked those questions when you're trying to choose your woman or like date someone?
I think for a woman it's smart. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was younger, maybe it was like a little extra. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, dang, she tripping. Like, who got money around us right now because we're young? But
Yeah.
as an adult, like as a mature person, like, come on now, you better know. Because I mean, if you don't ask it now, then you'll get comfortable and you'll start liking the dude, and then it's like, oh, but he walking to work, and that's okay. You know, I'm not trying to down nobody who ain't got a car, but at the same time, like, you just got to know what you want out of life. Like some people are in a stage of life to where they cool with that. They'll live in a box with you, and you know what I'm saying. They'll make it rock with you because they got that love for you. A lot of times, it's like we've been dealing with each other for a while. Like I've been knowing you since you've been growing up. I see that. But if that ain't your case, and you trying to like, go further in life, I think that a lot of times as men and women, we need to get ourselves ready. You know what I'm saying? Like focus on you and get yourself ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then when you're ready, we can do it. Let's just be friends now. You know what I'm saying? Like you trying to get your stuff going. I'm trying to get my stuff going. We can be friends, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because once we start being committed to each other, like, come on, that's when the money starts shelling out. Like that's when the money
Yeah.
starts shelling out. That's why I gave up being a player a long time ago because I felt like, bro, it's expensive, bro. Like you
I
gotta
always
take,
said that.
you
Like
know what
I
I'm
always
saying?
assumed that. Like you taking all these girls on dates, it's a lot.
It
Oh,
sounds like a headache to
It
me.
sounds
Like
like a
how are you
headache.
juggling? This one I got an issue with this. That one I got an issue with that. This one I want to do
yeah,
this, and that one I want to do that. Like
She want to see you every Thursday. She want to see you every Tuesday. Then you got this one on
yeah.
Saturday. That's mad money.
You feel me? Like, come on. Like, I ain't got it like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you got it like that, all right, whatever. But
right.
I mean, you still shouldn't be cheating on nobody or playing with people's emotions. But
Yeah.
shoot, yeah, if you in a situation where you just ain't got it like that, brother, cheating is not gonna help you. It's gonna hurt you.
Right.
No
Right.
savings account. So, but yeah, that's how I feel about that. You know what I'm saying? It's just ask, bro. Ask, bro. Because all they can do is just give you the truth. And then if they tell you something you don't like, you can still know them and be cool with them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Ask
But
questions, people.
Right.
Don't
And I,
be afraid to ask. You never gonna get the answer.
right.
come on, yeah, you better ask. You
And
know what I'm saying?
I also imagine too that if that guy is getting put down by women, then that might give him motivation to step his game up or step himself up regarding like, okay, maybe this isn't good enough.
Man,
Maybe having my mattress on the floor isn't cool enough, like I need to step things up and be able to put myself out there because somebody that's like of that magnitude that you expressed about the woman in the poem, she's not going to want somebody like me. And if I want somebody like that, then I have to show better or do better for myself.
for sure, man. If you ever watch like superhero movies or cartoons, it's the villain always bring a lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he'll bring a lady and then he'll shoot the lady towards the superhero, and then he'll fall for it or whatever like that. Because that's what it is, bro. I mean, I feel like you should have your self motivation. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you
Yeah.
should be self motivated to do things. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, we are men. We are who we are. Women, they push us. They push us. You see something that you like and you can't get it, like you said, yeah, hey, that ain't gonna happen no more. I'm gonna get a car. I'm gonna get a car. I ain't gonna be walking no more. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro, I remember that happened to me. Like I had moved to Houston, and shoot, I ain't had no car. I was walking to work every day. You know what I'm saying? I had a job like it's not in the hood, but it's close to the hood. But it was like a nonprofit organization. I would work every day. I had a suitcase, and in my suitcase I had a pair of clothes because it's Houston. By the time I get to work,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sweat all it out. So I used to have to get to work and like wash up and put them clothes on, and I started doing that because when I got back down here, I hit up this young lady that I used to know, you know what I'm saying, back in high school. And I was like, man, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, see what's up with that. And we went on a date and we went out to the movies and I had to get my sister to drop me off. And so she dropped me off at the movies. And so it's time to leave the movie. So the girl who I'm talking about, she had a car. So she's leaving the movie theater and she hop in the car and she's about to ride off. And I'm just still at the front, like, you know, so I'm trying to like wait a little back so she don't see me waiting. But eventually she pulled around. She was like, "You waiting on the ride?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I'll take you home." And I just felt like I was like, "Damn, she gotta take me home." You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "Look, I'm finna get this job, bruh. Look, I'm about to get this car." And that's what I did. I saved all of my money and I got that whip. So you're right, girls will push you, you know what I'm saying? Put stuff together, yeah. If you ain't got that self-motivation, shoot, a girl will definitely get you there. If you a dude, you know. For real talk. That's it. That's from experience right there.
Real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real grown up stuff.
Look, I ain't ashamed, you know what I'm saying? It ain't the same no more, but it used to be like that. I ain't ashamed about it, man. But
That's
yeah,
what's
man.
up.
Yeah.
Well, look
So,
at what the poem brought us to
Right.
conversation. I always wanted to ask the guy that too, so I'm glad that happened.
oh, for sure. You know y'all got look, come on. Like I ain't even gotta talk about women in power. Y'all know y'all the one in control. Like you already know that. We ain't running nothing, bro. We ain't running nothing. We think we are, but we doing all that for ladies. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Yep.
Oh man, this was a great man.
It was.
Always coming with the fire in the conversation. This was really
Oh yeah, you already know, man.
like this.
Me too.
Question that's burning inside of you now.
No, I don't. I'm looking forward to the next time
Hit me up. I'm down. Got poems, got convo. We can do it.
Yeah.
You know
I'm good with that. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Alrighty, well, thank you again, and until next time.
All right, man.
All love.
Yes.
All love. I'm gonna holler
See you
at
at
y'all.
homecoming.
Right.
See you at homecoming. I'm gonna be there. All right, man.
We are now in our cast segment with a special guest, our brother, another good brother from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University, our step baby,
Yes.
Justin. Welcome to the podcast. Justin is a realtor. The houses that he supposed to be nice.
Right?
I've been like, can I live in Georgia? So
come on down to Atlanta.
With our house. I'm just so proud of everything that you're doing. It's just so great to, know each other at a young stage in life and just talk about all these goals and dreams that we have. And that's like, boom, we here.
Right.
We're grown-ups and seeing you flourish. So we had to have you on our podcast, especially because of what the crisis in the world is going on. We had to have you as a guest. So welcome to the Truth Carpet, Justin.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for having me. I'm super excited about this. I can talk about real estate all day. So
glad we got you here.
Yes. Like I said, especially with everything that's going on. So first of all, I introduced you how I know you, but is there anything else that you want to let the people or our listeners know? Who are you?
Well, for those that don't know me, my name is Justin Wright. I'm originally from Austin, Texas.
Hey.
Okay. And I've been here in Atlanta 13 years, which is crazy to say. It's crazy to think that it's been 13 years. But moved here to go, like you said, to Clark Atlanta University. Best decision of my life.
Yeah.
Still paying them student loans off, but best decision of my life.
Louise.
And so I majored in business and just been kind of moving about Atlanta in these real estate streets.
Yes. And doing a damn thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're gonna jump into the interview questions that we have for you because we just like super excited about this topic. Like I said, it's just so much going on with rent, with housing, just a lot going on. So I feel like people need to
Mhm.
know these questions that we're about to ask you. So, let's get into it. All right. So, what does the role of real estate agent entail?
Ooh, so I always say, real estate agent is a like overall like therapist, mentor, teacher. Like it's a little bit of everything. When you're going through the process, especially for a lot of us, it's we don't know what we don't know, right? A lot of us, it's our either first time buying a home. A lot of my family, I speak for myself, a lot of my family have always rented.
Mhm.
So the thought process of buying a home has just never been something that they just thought about at all. So you're literally starting from ground zero of having to educate someone on how to purchase a home, what that looks like. It's navigating through the process of, okay, now that you do have a home, what does that look like? The upkeep. I oftentimes get a lot of calls even after the purchase of like, hey, Justin, my AC went out. And I'm like, I'm not an HVAC person, but but I get, they're like, hey, this is my first time of ever owning a home. You kind of coached me through this process, and you tend to have to coach them throughout the rest of the process for a little bit as they get,
Aw.
acclimated to owning a home and the things that come with it. But yeah, it's all things. Sometimes even going through the process, you have to kind of talk people off the ledge.
Aw.
A lot of times, often, unfortunately, more often than not, going through that process, it's not easy. For some people, it is. For some people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I did X, Y, and Z, and then I was in my home." And then for some other people, it's like I did backflips. I had to swoop and do this, and
Yeah.
but finally, I'm in it. And so through that, it's like, okay, letting them know, hey, it's going to be okay. This is normal. And especially when not knowing what we don't know, oftentimes we go to the extreme and we're like, oh, wait, no, never mind. I don't want to buy it. I'll just go rent.
Yes.
And, right.
They want what?
Okay, they want what? I'm like, yeah, they need a blood sample. Like, they need a blood sample. Just go and give it to them. But it's like it's gonna be okay. This is normal. We're gonna work through it. These are the things that we need to do in order to get it. But yeah, it's all things throughout the process. Just being that mentor, that educator.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I
Wow.
love it though. I didn't know that that was something. I'm thinking like probably a lot of people think. When you're a real estate agent, it's cute, right? It's you show a home and you get a big check.
Yeah.
And that is far few and in between. More often than not, you are in the trenches with your clients, like making sure that the deal is getting done. Not only are you managing like your client, but you're also managing the external, team members as well. So the
Yeah.
lenders, the closing attorneys, dealing with the sellers. If you're on the buyer side, dealing with the sellers agents, and that can be a job within itself. Managing people is a really, really big component of that. So yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I feel educated already.
Right.
Okay,
No.
I'm one of the people that's just paying rent. Okay, but I know for a fact I can be paying less when I'm paying a mortgage than I'm paying for the rent for the apartment. Okay.
Yeah, it's and that was like a big factor too in me getting into real estate, not only just for myself, but on the selling side as well, was when I looked at how much I was paying in rent, and I had paid. It was my apartment that I looked at while I was in college, and I've been there a little over 3.5 years, and I want to say it was like close to like 40,000 that I had paid. And I'm like, where did that money come from?
Damn. Right. Yeah.
Okay, where did I get 40
Where did
grand from?
I?
Okay. But then two, I'm literally about to turn my keys into the leasing office, and I don't have anything to show for it.
Wow.
So yeah.
Right.
Nothing.
I saw you post something the other day too. I forget what the numbers were, but that was a perfect breakdown of like exactly what you just said. It was an example of that, of how much we paid for rent, and then you walk away giving this person 300 something $1,000. That could have been a house right there, but you gave that away to somebody else. So that breakdown was good to see as well. But I wanted to know, before we get into the next question, because you answered a lot, like of why people will need a realtor and all those things. Because people might think I can do this by myself, but it's a lot that goes into it. But why did you choose to be a real estate agent?
So a lot of it had to do with one, me not really being happy in my previous role.
Mm,
I worked in commercial banking as a client service analyst, and after 5 years, I was miserable. Like, and I looked around my coworkers and kind of people that have been doing it significantly longer than I have, and everybody was stressed out. Um, they had nasty attitudes. Not always, but it was just they were always on the edge. So any little thing could just like tip them one way or the other.
yeah.
And I'm like, if this is what I have to look forward to, y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. Um, and also with my dad has always been in the real estate. He was a realtor for a large majority of my life growing up. And I'm also an investor as well. I'm investing into commercial apartment and single family homes.
Nice.
And I didn't know until, I'm 23, 4 plus, that growing up with him, I would go and see properties and look at homes with him and his clients, or go to his apartments and help him do little things. He
That's so
made me pick
cute.
up trash and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to do this again. It's a Saturday morning. Like, I'm trying to stay in. And unknowingly, like, he was teaching me so much about not only just having responsibilities, but about real estate. And so, one, I thank him so much
Mhm.
for all the information that and support. He was a big part of the support that I had when transitioning from going from my job into real estate. Because a lot of people, think you have a decent job, got right out of college, and
Yeah.
it's like, why do you mess up that job? Like, you stay there, especially like our process, like the older people in our lives, our parents and grandparents. I specifically remember one when I told my grandmother, who's literally always been my in my corner, my support. When I told her that I wanted to transition into being in real estate full time,
Mhm.
she literally told me, she was like, "You're making the worst decision of your
Oh,
Wow.
life."
grandma.
And mind you, this is my person. Like, this is the person that has rode or died for me since I was born. So I really took it hard. I was
Yeah.
like, dang, like, and then it had me thinking, like, am I really making the worst decision in my life? And so when kind of talking it over with my dad, who's kind of always been my sounding board, he was like, you have to put it in perspective of like how she grew up and the time that she grew up in. And it was when you got a good job, you kept that good job and you didn't do anything to jeopardize it.
Yeah.
And you didn't make any major movements. And so she wasn't speaking from a perspective of like not believing in you. That's just all that she knows.
Mhm.
And so when he put it like that, I'm like, okay, I got it now. I can understand that. But yeah, the combination of me not being happy at my job and my dad um, kind of being that heavy influence in real estate early on, and then me going through my own process of real estate and purchasing my home. I started looking for my home my senior year in college. Most people think that you have to have like this extensive time. Typically, lenders want to see that you have 2 years of work history.
Okay.
But what a lot of people don't know is that your school is considered your work history when you're in college.
Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So when before graduation, I previously interned with JP Morgan, and before graduation it offered me full time. So I was able to get pre-approved with my offer letter. And so I started looking, I think it was literally like a month after graduation, unknowingly, not knowing that it was going to take me a year to find my place.
Mm.
And a lot of that had to do with me learning that, I had champagne taste on a beer budget. I'm coming into the
Hello.
and
I
I'm
can
like,
relate.
I'm like, I want granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, hardwood
Hello.
floors. Um, and my realtor, thankfully, her name was Wendy, and she kind of had to talk me into reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, you are pre-approved at 125,000.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to, you can do all of those things at some point, but just not right now.
Yeah.
So, it's putting that needs and wants list together, and then kind of working from there. So seeing how I was so appreciative of her and seeing how she helped me through that process, I wanted to be able to kind of help somebody else through it as well. So those things kind of all gelled together to make me want to get into real estate.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
That's
you,
what's
Wendy.
up. Right. Yes, Wendy. She had all the nuggets
Okay.
and the fries.
Okay. And
Oh,
then
Wendy.
even realizing, come on, fries. And then realizing, this is my perspective at the time is like, Wendy's making all this money. Like she's a real estate agent. She's
Yeah.
making, and the home that I ended up purchasing, a little over a year later was 87,000. And it wasn't a home that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It was a home that Wendy told me would be a good investment for me. And so it was 87,000. I looked at what they call a closing disclosure at the closing, and Wendy had made, I think, maybe $3,000. Like, and mind you, she's at this point, and I thought it was so cool. She had literally written down every single address of every home that we had seen throughout the process.
Mm-hmm.
So when we closed, she gave me this this letter, and it was all of the addresses listed, and then it was my final home address that I had purchased. And I think we had seen over that year upwards of like 65 properties.
Wow.
Um, and so taking into consideration her time and her gas, she was a referral from a friend. So she didn't even really work in the city of Atlanta. She worked about an hour out where she lived. So every time we would look at homes here in the city, she would drive down. So taking into consideration her time and her gas,
Yeah.
that $3,000 for a year was nothing.
Right.
So I'm like, she basically did charity.
Yeah.
But she didn't realize how much she had taught me in that process, and how patient she had been with me. You with a first time home buyer, you tend to have to explain things one, two, three times, even more, because it's like I said, you're starting from ground zero. So it's I was like, I want to be this for somebody, because I know how it feels being on that end. Um, so yeah.
Oh, that's so
Yes,
sweet.
right?
Yeah, that is so sweet. So going off of what you shared about the needs and wants list and working with Wendy and her really sitting you down, we want to know what's the first step to buying a home or like this whole process, because a lot of people are out there and they may want to purchase a home. Like I was like that. I want to purchase a home, but I'm scared, I'm embarrassed to talk to somebody because what if I don't have enough money? What if I don't, all these things? So, what can you tell people that's listening that may feel like that too? Like, what's the first step?
So I always tell people, the first step is to really consider, how much you want to purchase. Most people say like first step is to go talk to a lender, like see what you can get pre-approved for.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell people to make sure that you understand your finances and your financial position and seeing what you're comfortable with paying for. Because when you go talk to a lender, they're going to say, oh, based off of how much you make and based off of your debt to income, we can pre-approve you for 500,000. And yeah, on paper, that might be, what you can be pre-approved for, but you have to know you, right?
Yeah.
And how your lifestyle is set up, the things that aren't on paper. Do you go out often? For me, I go out often, right? So I have to take into consideration in my monthly budget, my Uber costs. Like that's something that's not gonna be on paper. That's not gonna be in my debt to income
Right.
on my credit report. But that's something that I know that I do. You might be saving up for something that a trip. You might be going on a trip or something. And so these things are, you have to really consider, like, who am I? What this looks like for me financially. I always tell people, look at your current rent. Are you comfortable with your current rent? Would you prefer for that to go down? Are you okay with it possibly going up a little bit? But I always tell people to use your current rent because that's what you're currently paying. So clearly you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of, I can do it, but I'm really tight right now. So then we know for sure, we don't want to go over this.
Yeah.
But, I kind of got a little wiggle room, or, oh, maybe you're expecting to, get a raise. So you're okay with comfortably going over it a little bit. But I always tell people, don't go off of what the lender says, because what you don't want to be is house poor.
Yeah.
You got this nice house, or this house that you spent more than what you were expecting. You ain't got nothing in it. You can't go nowhere. You can't do anything. You in the house. Like get used to that house. You got that house. Have fun with it.
No, we outside. Nothing.
Okay, no, we outside.
We inside.
Okay, we inside. We in the living room.
No chairs. No TV. Just me.
But right. But yeah, I always tell people that is the first step, is to see where you are financially. And then once you know that, then you go and speak with the lender, and they will go and they'll run your credit. They will look at your debt to income, look at your income, and then look at your debt to income. And you will, they'll tell you, okay, you can be pre-approved for X amount. And most people think, which unfortunately, in the Black community, we have this notion of, like, we don't want people in our business, right?
Yes.
Like, that's the thing. I know when my mom, growing up, my mom never owned a home, and she purchased her home after me coaching her through, telling her, mom, just purchase, just purchase, just purchase. After like 5 years, she finally went and bought a home. But a lot of her choosing her in-state realtor was, I'm like, oh, you can use X, Y, and Z person, you can use this person. And she is like, I don't want them in my business. I don't want them in my business.
Yes.
I'm like, mom, what business? Girl? Like, what business? But I get the notion of, finances can be a very personal thing, right? And so I always tell people, I don't have to know how much money you make. I don't have to know what your credit score is. A lot of people think that your realtor knows your income and your credit score. That's all a lender thing. And the lenders will only share that information if they've been given authorization from the individual that they can provide that to us and talk to us about it. But that whole notion of, like, you didn't want people in your business, well, I won't even ever know it. You come to me with a pre-approval letter of X amount and say, hey, this is what I can afford. Anything else other than that financially, all goes through the lender.
Wow.
So you'll speak with the lender, they'll give you that pre-approval, and then you'll come and we'll start talking about going back to that needs and wants list. I always tell my clients, like, hey, we got to schedule time to talk, but prior to that, like, go ahead and jot down some things of, like, what you're looking for, what you want, what you need, what you want, and really kind of working down that list to say, okay, this is based off of what you've been pre-approved for and the areas that you're looking in. This is what I think we can get, and then kind of figuring out if it makes sense for you.
Yeah.
Alright.
This is really good
Right.
information because I remember making my call for, expressing my interest in getting a home. And I had my little notebook and I was like, this is how much I make bi-weekly and this is how much I got in this account and that account. Like I was just giving all the information, not knowing like I didn't need to tell her. So
Mhm.
she said, okay, well, I'm gonna give you the contact information for the lender, and then that person will help you. But I'm just like spitting it all out, like tell me, can I afford a home? Like, because I didn't know. I didn't know anything because even though there are people in my family who own homes, nobody was in my life who brought me through the process like your dad did, or talked to me about what it is to be a homeowner or to own
Mhm.
anything. So for me, even though I know these people are there, like you said, the embarrassment of the Black community. I don't know how much my aunt makes or this person
Mhm.
makes. So I'm just thinking, I don't have enough. So let me just talk to this person on the side, opposed to trusting in my family that they can help me through the process.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a that thing, and I definitely understand it, right? Because I said, finances are a very intimate thing.
Yeah.
You want everybody in your business, um, but when talking with lenders, and I want to make this point because I forgot to make it. I always tell people to talk to multiple lenders. Don't
Mhm.
just speak with one lender. Oftentimes, like if you're using a realtor, they'll say, "Hey, I have a lender. Like, speak with my lender," and you definitely should. But I think you should also speak with other lenders as well, and other real estate agents, right? You don't just have to work with the first real estate agent that you talk to. You have to make sure that that is, a mutual agreement between both of you guys, that you feel like after talking to this person, this is somebody that I can work with, that I feel like will have my best interests at heart. Um, for me, I never want my clients to feel like they have to work with me. It's 10,000 realtors out here, right? So if it's not working between me and you, or if you don't think that I'm the best fit for you, then I want you to find who's the best fit for you. Because ultimately, you have to go through this process, and you have to feel comfortable with your realtor being your advocate. I always tell people to think about it like, when something go down and you like, I got to call my lawyer. Your
Yeah.
lawyer got your back. Like, that's your lawyer. Like, think think about it in that same aspect. Like, this is my realtor. So I know if he
Yeah.
tells me something, like, I'm gonna go with what he or she tells me, because I know at the end of the day they have my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what
So
you need.
speak,
Yes.
A little ride or die.
That's my
you
realtor.
know.
Oh
And
my
then with the
gosh.
lenders, with the multiple lenders, you want to compare interest rates. You want to
Mhm.
compare timelines, of, they said that you can do X, Y, and Z. I know sometimes I have clients who they were trying to get pre-approved for X amount, but one lender would only pre-approve them for, a lower amount, where another lender said, "Oh, well, I got a different way that we can structure the loan to where I can get you more, get you up to that amount that you were looking for." But they would only know that if they talk to, multiple ones versus
Mhm.
going with the first one. Um, and unfortunately, what I found is that with, like, working with, a lot of us think that, I'll go speak with my bank. Like,
Yeah.
I have a existing relationship with my bank. I'll go speak with my bank. And what I found is that, banks, their mortgages are not their bread and butter. Like, it's just something that they add. It's an added service, and so they
Yeah.
treat it as such. So timelines are typically longer. With banks, it's not a centralized, underwriting process, so they're everywhere. They might be in Florida, might be in New York, might be.
Mhm.
So that's why that timeline is significantly longer, because they have to send your file here, and then once it's done here, it goes there. Versus working with mortgage lenders, one, they don't get, their money until your loan closes. And so it's every bit of the reason why they want to make sure your loan is closing on time, is closing right, so that they can
Yeah.
get their check.
Right.
Right.
They all about the coin.
Yes.
Right, right. And that's the only thing they do. They're just a mortgage lender. So, they treat it as such. And so I always tell people to definitely not only speak to different mortgage lenders, but I found that speaking with using an actual mortgage lender instead of a larger bank sometimes can be a better. Not always, but sometimes.
So when you say speak to more than one lender, is it like at the same time you can speak to these and choose, or do you say no to one and then go and then say, oh no, I want to go back to the other one?
Right, you dating. You dating. You dating lenders. There's a period, and I believe it's 14 days.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe it is 14 days from the time that your credit is pulled, that speaking with different lenders and having them pull your credit is still considered that one hard pull. So you don't have to worry about it being pulled multiple times, or your points being hit multiple times if it's within that time frame, because they know that you're shopping around mortgages.
Okay. That was a good
and so
answer,
that way,
I was wondering too.
Yeah. Yep. So it's all considered one with if it's within that time frame. And it's definitely, like I said, necessary. I mean, for me, I'm cheap, so I might go to a store and I'm like, oh, I like that, but I don't know, I might be able to find something else somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the other store, see, and if I don't find nothing, some people say, oh, maybe you wasted gas because you're going back to the other store to buy it. And maybe I am. I don't know, but I'm gonna check my options out before I just make a decision.
I know all my options.
Yeah. For real. So a little personal disclosure, it's just been like I've been getting frustrated about the whole realtor situation, because I'm like, do I need a new realtor? Why is the process so slow? It's just taking forever. As soon as the house comes out or she texts me something, I drive by, I'm like, oh, this is cute, like I want to tour. Oh, sorry, somebody already put in an offer. Like before I can even say yes to the dress, meaning the house, somebody already scooped it. So I can't even compare and contrast. It's like a major headache. So with that, like how long is the process usually? Because I feel like I should have my house already. Like it's been 2 days. Where's my house? Where's my house?
So I would definitely say, don't blame the realtor. Don't blame the realtor immediately.
Okay.
But it is something, to think about, right? Like, is this realtor available at what I'm expecting and at my expectation? Are they able to, are they super busy where, they don't have the time to show me the home today, and if they can't get to it till tomorrow? If that's an issue, then yeah, maybe that's a conversation that you have with them, or maybe you do need to find another realtor. But in the instance of like something coming on the market, I always tell clients that you have to move pretty quickly. If it's something that you think you are right now, especially in this market, I'm telling my clients, if you're remotely interested in it, let's put in an offer.
Okay.
We'll put in an offer. Sometimes we even put in offers prior to even seeing the property if the seller's agents allow for that. And that way, it takes me every bit of 30 to 45 minutes to write an offer. I'd rather go ahead, throw that offer in, have you sign it and send it over. And you always have your due diligence period to figure out, okay, while we're doing that offer, that's when you then also will drive by and make sure that you like the community. And then if it gets accepted, we'll go through the process of looking at inspections, looking at the property to see in the inside if it's something that you actually like. But you typically have that time frame, and it's all negotiable. Sometimes it may only be 3 days, sometimes it may be a full week. It could even be less than 3 days. It just depends on what you've negotiated and what you put into the offer. But at least you're putting your name in the hat for something that you're remotely interested for, versus going and saying, hey, it's Wednesday, this property just came on the market, I can show it to you on Saturday. Yeah. Might not have the best, the best situation with that, the way that the market is now. When it's slower and there's a lot of inventory, then maybe you can move like that. But when it's 10,000 buyers and you got 10 houses on the market, you got to go in competitively with your offer, but then also you got to move quick.
Wow.
And sometimes
I never knew that the part of like the offer. I'm thinking if I say yes to a house, then I got to put all in. But what you're speaking about putting my name in a hat and it's a process, I can still say no. I never thought I could still say no.
Right. You still have that due diligence period time to really figure out, okay, is this, it's it's even important, even if you've already seen the home, that due diligence period is important because some people they have their process of like, is this the home for me? Some people
Yeah.
they go home and they pray on it. Some people like numbers. I had a client who like numbers was a big thing. So they had to figure out if that number, that numeric address, was something that they felt would be right for their soul. So people have their different processes of figuring out if something is right for them, and you're able to do that within your due diligence period. And you may wake up and you're like, oh no, something told me this is not the place for me. I want to go ahead and pull my offer, and there's no love lost. So yeah, that due diligence period is really important, but it also allows for you to be able to act quicker, and then kind of figure out if it's for you a little bit on the back end.
Okay. It's so good to know that it's okay to change your mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
But
being on the
only
flip
during that due
side.
diligence period, though.
Okay.
Because if it's after that due diligence period, your earnest money is lost. So I always tell people, if it's, if we put in that contract 3 days, we have 3 days.
Okay.
And at 2.5 days, I'm really pressing you like, have you figured it out? Because I want to go ahead if it's before we get to that 3rd day, and there's any question on like, oh, was it 3 days and 2 minutes or 3? I'm like, no, we sent we sent it off way in advance, then prior to that 3-day mark, so we need our money back.
Yeah. So it's like the wedding day. And no divorces. The divorce is hard because you got to sell the house.
Right.
So before you get married, do you really want to do this?
Right.
You really want to say
invest
yes?
this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a dating process. Like, I see it. I like this, Justin. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting educated
And
over
that's why I
here.
always tell people too, like, for me, I don't look at, a lot of people look at real estate or being a real estate agent as selling, like you're selling something. I don't really look at it as selling because I don't ever feel like I have to sell the house to my clients. I feel like I'm more of a matchmaker. I'm going to provide these houses and see which one you feel is the best for you. Ultimately, you're the only one that's going to be able to tell that. So it's not me feeling like I'm selling you into something. Oh, you got this and you got this and you got this. I'm like, here you go. And then figure out if this is something that you think is best for you and, your family and your lifestyle.
Yeah, I love that. Wow. Okay. Here you go. I like that. Okay. I'm like imagining myself walking through a house with Justin right now. Like I really am. This is cool. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So me over here, Antsy Pants, would think it take 2 days to get my house. You mentioned earlier with Wendy that it took about a year for you to say yes to your house. So is there an average time frame that people will find out?
So yeah, so it really depends. Is like that's a kind of a two-part question. So it really depends on how you're purchasing your home. So if you're purchasing your home, which I don't know a lot of people that can do this, but some people can purchase their home with cash.
Yeah, I wish.
I'm like, hopefully one day I get to be able to do that.
Right, Sally may, but I can't. You got it?
May, okay.
You holding me back.
Listen, let me find out you write lyrics. But if you're purchasing your home cash, that's a lot quicker process. There's no one there there's not a lender there that needs to verify your income. There doesn't need to be any income. It's the only time that it takes throughout a cash purchase is the closing attorney pulling the title, making sure that there's no liens on the property, making sure that the homeowner, if there is a homeowners association, that it's paid up, that there hadn't been anything Homeowners, like, they vote all the time on if they're going to raise the homeowners association fees or if they're going to stay the same. And so they'll, make sure that that process, that hasn't been changed during the time that you've had, you're purchasing the property. Because if you go into a property where you're thinking you're going to purchase it for X amount of dollars, and just say the HOA is $200 a month, but the HOA has been in conversation about changing it, and it's going up to $400 a month. That's a complete difference, right?
Yeah.
So those are the things that the closing attorneys are going to look at, in addition to taxes and stuff like that. But that process can typically take about 7 days, maybe 10 days. So with a cash purchase, you can purchase when, at most, it would take about 2 weeks to purchase.
Right. So when I'm rich, I
cash.
can get my house in 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, but for us regular people, typically it's about a 30-day process.
Okay.
I have had clients who have been able to do it in 21 days. It just depends on how efficient the lender is and how efficient you are. Because unfortunately, lenders will reach out and they're like, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this, and I need this, and I need it in 5 minutes. Right. And it depends on if you're able to give them that information in 5 minutes, or it might take you a day to do so. And it's okay if it takes you a day to do so, but just know that could possibly prolong the closing.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on how efficient you are and how efficient the lender is. But typically, it will take about 30 days, 21 to 30 days. Sometimes it goes a little further. Also, if you're using down payment assistance programs, those things are still, they're definitely helpful for first-time home buyers. I know a lot about down payment assistance programs here in Atlanta because the majority of my clients are first-time home buyers. The only ones that are not, for the most part, have bought their first home from me, and then their lifestyles have changed. They've gotten kids, families kind of grown, they need a larger space, or they're downsizing. Their kids have grown, went off to college, and now they just want a condo. And so with those things taken into consideration, you might want to use a down payment assistance program. And if so, those can kind of prolong your closing process as well. It might add an additional week on or 2 weeks on. But if we're talking about average time is about 30 days.
Okay.
From the time, and let me make sure I can make that clear, from the time that you find the home. Finding the home and getting it under contract is, can possibly be the longest period. That was the longest period of time for me personally, was actually finding the home. I went through a process of, oh, I want a condo, to, oh, maybe I don't want a condo because of the HOA, because of, at the time that I purchased my first home, Airbnb wasn't a thing. Short-term rental wasn't a thing, but I thought, like, hey, maybe I want to rent this place out. I don't know if I'm gonna be in Atlanta for forever. Maybe I want to rent this place out at some point. But with considering a condo, a lot of times, especially if it's a decently kept condo, then they have rental restrictions. And those are really good because it can be a twofold. They're good, but they can also be a hassle. They're good because a renter's not going to keep up your property like the owners are. So when you do have rental restrictions, typically you see that the properties and the overall buildings are nicer, more nicely kept. When they don't have rental restrictions and you have 10,000 renters, then typically sometimes it doesn't, look as nice, or it's not as nicely kept. But on the flip side of that, like if you decide, oh, I got a job offered somewhere else and I want to up and move tomorrow, if they have rental restrictions, you have to put your name on, in the hat to rent your property. You have to get authorization from the homeowners association. So for example, if there's, 100 units and they have a 10% rental cap, that means only 10 units out of those 100 can ever be rented at one time.
Dang.
And so if you're wanting to rent your home and you're like, oh, I've got my new job starting next month, You better hope that somebody, your list is, you're going to come up on the list within that month. Otherwise, your property will be vacant.
Dang.
Right. And if you're number 11, sometimes you can be number 11 for 5 years, 10 years. Because once you're renting, as long as you keep a current lease, and it really depends on the homeowners association bylaws, but a lot of them, as long as you keep a current lease, then you can always lease. But if you don't find somebody to lease within a certain time period, then you drop off the list, and then that next person can then go up. But I know, we got off on the tangent of like HOAs and condos, and kind of straight away from the question of how long it takes. But
that's
yeah,
good
it's definitely,
information. Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure if this is like a person to person question, but our next question for you is, what's the suggested income and credit score for home buyers?
Okay. So yeah, that is definitely a personal, individual answer. Because it really depends. It depends on not only your income, but also your debt to income. Like, what do you have? A lot of student loans? Us that went to CAU, we love our institution, but them loans hit you on the back end.
Right.
And so, that, do you have a car payment? Do you have a lot of credit card debt? Somebody that, just for example, makes 50,000 and has no debt, can afford a little more of a home from somebody that makes 50,000, but is paying out $1,500 between car payments, student loans, and credit card debt. It's going to be a completely different financial profile on how the underwriter looks at things. So it really does depend on what your personal situation is. But as far as like credit, typically lenders want to see that you have at least a 640. From talking to my lenders.
Really? She sound like an old lady. Really?
In my mind, I think it had to be a little bit higher, like 700,
But it depends on everything else.
Yeah, so it depends on everything else. And don't get me wrong, the higher the credit score, the better your interest rate is going to be.
Right.
So I've seen it where you're able to get pre-approved at a 580, but they might hit you on on your interest rate. They're definitely going to hit you on your interest rate. So you'll see you're paying for that 580 in your monthly payment.
Yeah.
Versus walking into the dealership with a 700, you talking differently, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, no, I want this kind of car and I want this, and then make it work.
Right.
Versus like that 580 is
Uniboss.
like,
I worked hard for this credit.
Right.
Okay.
that 580 is like, can you get me in the car? So, but on average, somewhere between that 640 is a good starting point to be able to, without a question, as long as debt to income adds up, that you'll be able to be approved for a home loan.
All right, y'all. If you're listening, make sure you work on your credit score, because the higher your credit score, the more boss moves you can make.
Right. And don't feel like you gotta go buy no extravagant car just because you graduated and you like, I graduated, I won't need a whatever. Like,
you don't need
no.
Right.
Necessities, right? Go buy that house first.
Right.
I always like
with old car, ain't nothing brand new. They say
listen,
coins,
okay?
Listen, and to each his own. But I hate when I see somebody who's able to financially purchase a property, but they choose to go buy a Range Rover. So you choose to have an $800 car payment and go drive into your apartment complex when you could have used that money to go, have a decent car that still gets you from A to B.
Right.
But you don't have, it's not $800, but you can pull up to your own stuff.
Right.
Like,
and the thing about that is, as soon as you drive off the lot, the value depreciates. But over time with the house, you're accruing like so much, like the value of your home goes skyrocket. You could have got the house for $180,000. By the time you're ready to sell it, it's worth $1 million. Not really, y'all, but you know, it goes up like you're like art. It appreciates the value depending on who owns it and how old it is and everything like that. So I agree, Justin, with what you just said.
Absolutely.
Prime example is like that that first house that I told you guys about that I purchased for 87,000 out of school. It wasn't what I dreamed of. It wasn't, you know, my granite countertops and my stainless steel appliances, but it was nice. It was something that I was comfortable in. Little did I know that that 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house for 87,000 in East Atlanta, that area would skyrocket.
Wow.
And you know, 5 years later, I never did anything but when I got ready to sell it, I did a fresh coat of paint and I put down new floors because the carpet was terrible. We had so many parties and stuff. The carpet was terrible, but I put new floors down, and I was able to sell it for 196,000.
Wow.
And so, you know, where
At
else
Wendy.
are you gonna go? Right. Look at Wendy. Where else would you go? You know, what would you do where literally you didn't do anything but lay your head down every day and you made over $100,000? Which, you know, is then able to help me like fund other things and like flips and purchase another property and stuff like that. Be able to pay down some of those student loans, like all of those things. But it was for me to say, okay, maybe I don't get this expensive, extravagant car that for me, I felt like I would probably have been purchasing just for us for status, for me to say that, oh, I've done this, or I've driven. Some people truly do like these cars, and I don't take that from anybody, but I feel like a lot of us purchase them because everybody else likes them.
I think so too.
So instead of me, you know, doing that, I tried to put my money elsewhere, and thankfully it worked out for me that it was, you know, I got rewarded on the back end.
Yes.
Come on.
That's what's up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm loving this education today.
I am too.
Like I'm in class and I have my notepad.
Yeah. So
Listen.
speaking about class and notepad, this is word that gets thrown around a lot that we don't know what it is. What the heck is escrow? What is that?
What does it mean? I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Where does it go? What does it do? Like
I hear it all the time. I'm like, okay.
I'm not escrow.
Yeah.
Is that a clothing line?
It sounds like a crow, like a bird.
Okay. So it is like it's used differently depending on where you are.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of like in California they say, you know, I'm in escrow. I'm in escrow right now. Or we just closed escrow. And for us here in Atlanta, in Georgia, that basically means that you're under contract. You have found a home. You and the seller, if you're on the buying side, you and the seller have agreed that you're going to purchase this home for X amount, and you're going to close on X amount date. And so you're going through the process of dealing with your lender, dealing with the closing attorney, dealing with the seller side, and everybody is doing what they have to do on their side in order to get to this date of the closing. And during that entire process, that is considered being in escrow or under contract. Now, there's also what you call escrowing, like you have an escrow account. An escrow account is where now, when there was the big like financial downturn in 2008, 2007, 2008, some of that was they were allowing for people to buy property, but they weren't escrowing their taxes or their insurance into their home loans. So now, because of that, they have now required that you escrow those things into your monthly payment. So because prior to, you could pay your mortgage, but if you weren't paying your property taxes, it don't matter. Right. Because the city gonna be like, run me that property. You ain't paying your property taxes, right? So now they escrow those amounts, and they basically add those amounts into an escrow account. And so you pay one monthly mortgage payment, but then you get your mortgage lender will then send out payments to your insurance company. They'll send out payments to your property taxes to the city. They'll send out, sometimes, depending on if you have your homeowners association payments escrowed into your account, they'll send those out as well. So instead of you paying your mortgage and then having to keep on the back end, keep account for those things and send those payments out separately, it's escrowed. It's kept into an escrow account for you, and they send them out. They basically say, this is the lump sum payment monthly that you'll pay, and then we'll deal with everything else for you.
I like that.
Right. No, I don't want to worry about that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, give me my
sum.
one lump, sum that I gotta pay monthly.
Yes.
Y'all deal with everything else, because I don't want to, come around the following year and they're like, oh yeah, you owe $3,000 in property tax. Oh, where?
Right. Where are you getting that from?
Listen, can we talk about
No,
this?
thank you. I don't owe nothing. Okay, I don't owe nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes. In escrow means under contract, and you can have an escrow account, meaning that they will pay it's added into your monthly mortgage, and they will pay your property taxes and whatever else has been calculated in that escrow account. But that's a good question, though. That's a really good question, because I know people.
I'm ready to go start looking for my own damn house. All this education that I've done received, I'm like, wait a minute, I can actually afford to get my own house.
Right.
I gotta figure out where I want.
So we
No,
go to
really.
Georgia.
Come on to Georgia.
I know who my realtor is. Okay.
Hello, Justin. That's the right choice. Okay.
Okay. Come on.
Yes. On the right day with the right numbers.
They, they always say, like, I don't make enough to afford a home. And I always tell people, like, buy something that you can afford now. It doesn't have to be a large, whatever, you might have in your mind. You're like, I've always thought about buying a home, and I thought about buying a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. Like, if you make, 25,000 right now, find you something that you can purchase that you can afford off of 25,000. It might only be, a $50,000 condo that might be a 1-bedroom condo, but at least it's something that you can afford now, and it's something that will appreciate in value, hopefully, unless there's big major downturn or anything, but will hopefully appreciate in value, versus, like we talked about earlier, just paying towards something, to rent, which is crazy right now. Rents are so high, it's ridiculous.
It is.
So the whole notion of, like, oh, I could just rent and save money, where you're not gonna rent and save money, because rents are so high, you can't save money.
Right.
So you might as well.
You're gonna be eating grass.
Right. And I know a lot of people, it's really, because you have to have the down payment, you have to have closing costs and things like that. A lot of people don't know that you can pull money out of your 401k. So that's an option for you. If you don't have the money on hand, I mean, sometimes you can also borrow the money from parents, family, friends. But you can also pull it out of that 401k account, and you're not penalized for it. Typically, we're penalized if we pull money out of 401k, but because you're pulling it out as a to purchase your primary residence, you're not penalized for it. So I always tell people that's a good option to have, or a good option to use, because you have the option of, one, pulling that out and not paying it back, or pulling it out and paying it back, but at the end of the day, you're paying yourself back.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win either way. Or you can do what I did, which is pull out of an insurance policy. My grandparents got an insurance policy for me when I was born. And I didn't know until I got ready to buy my house at 21. And I'm trying to, piece this money together. And my grandpa's like, oh, yeah, I got that insurance policy. Insurance policy? What insurance?
Right.
And so got to reading about it and realizing that you can pull money out of that. And just like the 401k, you can choose to pay it back, or you can choose to not pay it back. In the event that you don't pay it back, whatever that payout of that insurance policy was, so just say it was a $50,000 insurance policy, whatever you borrowed from that, in the unfortunate event that you have to use that, that someone, whoever the beneficiary of that insurance policy, has to use it because you've passed away, they'll just get whatever less of what you've pulled out.
Okay.
So once again, it's a win-win. So those are two really good options for people who are looking to try to figure out, how do I get this down payment? How do I get closing costs? Because it can be really, really pricey. But yeah, I mean, I'm like, those, it's ways to figure it out. You just gotta, have the right realtor, no pun intended. But have people that are knowledgeable to think through the process with you and figure out a solution, versus just like, oh yeah, maybe you just gotta save some more, try again in a few years.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, this was awesome.
Right. I feel, I'm definitely ready to go ahead and get out there and just explore my options.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, it's definitely and like you said, if nothing else, explore your options. There's nothing, no love lost with just looking to see, I wonder what I could afford in my area with what I make, and what I pay out. And then, if you choose that, like, maybe it's not something that I found that I like right now with what I can afford, and I'll wait. Or, you might be able to kind of find something you're like, oh wow, who knew I could buy this? I've been paying that in rent. Wow, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Well, Justin, I must say it was a pleasure.
An absolute pleasure.
On the carpet, dropping the knowledge that you did on us. My brain is full.
Yeah, I learned so much. I thought I knew stuff, but
right.
wow,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'm definitely not, Mr. Know-it-all by any means. I literally learn each transaction, each time dealing with a client. I'm YouTube University over here. I watch, like, literally, that's what my TV stays on. I don't even I haven't had cable in 5-6 years. I literally just watch YouTube, and I'm like, oh, I was thinking about this. I wonder how you. I was looking at tree houses yesterday. Like, I'm like, oh, a tree house can be, because I am an Airbnb super host here in Atlanta. Like, what I'm realizing with Airbnb is that little, like, niche things are what people are attracted to, right? Like, I've seen where you have these really nice big 5-bedroom homes, and they don't stay rented that often, but it's because it's just a regular basic, like, it's nice home, but like, there's no appeal about it. There's no, that extra. And so here in Atlanta, there is a tree house that is really, really big. They stay rented. They do weddings. They've had a lot of stuff, and it's just a small little tree house, but it's super expensive. I think it, like, maybe somewhere between $300-400 a night. And I was like, oh, this might be something I might want to throw in this backyard. So I said that to say that's why I was looking at YouTube. But I learn. I try to, just be a sponge and learn every time by anybody. I don't try to profess to know everything. And if I don't know something, I'll tell you, hey, I don't know it, but I'm gonna follow up with you. I'm gonna figure it out, and we'll figure it out together. If you find out before me, definitely let me know.
You know, right?
So I thank you guys so much for having me. I'm not really a big person that, like, talks in front of people, and so I was super nervous, like, to do this, but I thank you guys for encouraging me, pushing me to do this, because it was fun, and I think it's information that people definitely need.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You did an amazing job. Like, even if we didn't come with questions, I just feel like this could have been such a fluid conversation. And I'm just taking it all in. I'm the sponge today. So just taking time out of your schedule. I know it's Sunday. A lot of people like to relax. Sorry, y'all, we're recording on a Sunday. But a lot of people like to use this day to relax, get ready for their work week and everything like that. So just for you to share your knowledge free for the people that's listening.
Right.
Nobody's paying to, money isn't coming in our pockets, but you're basically pulling a Wendy and doing it the right way with us today. So thank you for coming on to our Truth Carpet. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and before you go, you have to let the people know where they can find you.
Listen, you can find me on all social media platforms at Wright Realtor. That is WRIGHT Realtor. And you can also check out my company's real estate website. It's therightpropertygroup.com. And you can look at homes, see what we have here in Atlanta, Georgia, and the metro cities around us. And you might want to move.
Thank you so much, Justin. Right. We'll definitely put all your contact information down below so that people can click the links and find you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Justin, for everything.
Yes, thank you guys. And I can't wait to see y'all at homecoming. I'm ready. Listen, I'm ready.
We will be there. We got our flights and everything. See you soon.
Okay. I said I need to try to find out my outfits.
Yes, me too.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? In today's dorm story segment, Yaya and I will be discussing the first time we tried to get our own spot or moving on our own.
Yeah.
To a new place. Okay. So would you like to start or would you like me to begin?
I can start because I don't really have much, but
okay.
So this answer for me just goes back to college. Every time going from dorm room to dorm room to dorm room, just trying to figure out how to go about it, what to look for. Do I want to move off campus? Just all those things. And starting off with the suites, it was like, well, I can't go down from here. I can only level up. So I remember Simone wanted to move off campus and we saw how the Atlanta houses looked at that time.
Yeah.
It was like the Atlanta houses from the music videos. Like this looked like a trap house. Like I can't live here. The price is right, but me here, no. Mm-hmm. So then we moved to on campus, upperclassmen, apartment style housing, and then after that, I wanted to stay on campus. I think it was more so because I had a boyfriend on campus, so I wanted to stay on campus because I thought that's where they were gonna stay. But Simone was like, "No, I heard of this place. We should go visit." As soon as we visited the lofts, it was like, "This is." A queen deserves to stay here.
Right,
Where's
the swimming pool?
With the pool, they had a store on site. They had parking. They had everything. Everything was just so nice. Washer, dryer, the ceiling to floor windows, just like luxury living. Your own bathroom. It was 4 rooms. Everybody had their own bathroom. Just like full kitchen. Just so nice. It was like I can't go back to the suites after this. Like, and I thought the suites were nice.
No.
Yeah, no. They had a little shuttle until I got my car. Everything was just so nice. So going from that to now we're graduated, you can't live there anymore because you're not a student. My struggle with moving back home is I'm so used to seeing how that loft was, how that price for that loft was, and also how like Trisha and them, their apartments were, it was so nice. So coming from that and then coming home to for my price range, what's available, I don't want that.
Right.
I'm gonna stay at home until I could afford to move somewhere. But then when it got to that time of looking for an apartment to move by myself, it's like, well, dang, I know how much I paid to live at home. I don't want to live there because you paying me like mad money. I mean, you're charging me mad money to have 1 bedroom and it's time. Like I remember when I looked at my first apartment in Jersey and I was so excited. I'm like, okay, I can afford this, it's great. They took me on a tour and I went in the living room. I was like, okay, like this isn't bad for just me, I could do this and that. I saw the kitchen. I was like, okay, a galley kitchen is cute. This cute. So the bathroom, I was like, yo, like this is a nice big bathroom. It's bigger than the bathroom I got right now. Like everything is so nice. I'm ready to walk into the bedroom, see my walk-in closet. The bedroom was so tiny. Like that big smile that I had on my face went down. I was like, what's supposed to fit in here? Like my bed is not gonna fit in here. Like they were like, oh, maybe you can get like a twin. I was like, I don't even have a twin now. Like that's not gonna. What about my dresser? Like I had already in my mind furnished how my first apartment is gonna look. That idea that I had for me, is not gonna fit in there. But then I was like, no, I'll keep looking. I'm here. I'm gonna keep looking. I walk into the walk-in closet. I'm like, yo. I looked at the person that was giving me the tour. How is the closet bigger than the bedroom? Why is the bathroom bigger than, like it's not making sense. So then my mom and my cousin was like, maybe you're dramatic, Yaya. Maybe you're, being dramatic, Yaya. So my mom went with me. She was like, yeah, you right. Like, So it's just like hard just seeing, like, especially as time is going by, the rent is going higher and higher. And like we talked with Justin, just seeing how much they want for rent and how much the mortgage is. That's what kind of pushed me into a place of, okay, instead of paying rent, I'm gonna save for a couple of years. So after graduate school, I waited a few years and I started saving money, and then finally got the courage to speak to someone and say, hey, I want to look for a house, because of like looking around online. When I started to see houses that reminded me of the apartments that look like the luxurious ones or the ones that's in Atlanta, it's like, if I give you that money, I may as well go towards closer to my ultimate dream opposed to this right now dream. So yeah, if you never knew that before, now you know some of my tea. That I'm just in the process of saving and just paying to live at home and save up money opposed to putting my money into somebody else's pocket, because my thought of how I was spoiled got me to this place. That's what I say. I mean, like if I lived in a regular dorm, maybe, or if I lived in that apartment where like off campus, then my style may have been different. Like I can't go from that Hummer to the little Flintstone car. Like maybe if I had the Flintstone car first, then I'll go up, like level up. I don't want to, do that. So that's my experience. What's been yours?
I mean, I've moved a few different times, and I'm gonna say moving is a hell of a job. I do not like moving. It's the process of moving, packing up things, taking things out of the house, putting things in the house, packing up what you have, figuring out what's coming with you, what's not staying. Like it's a whole
Do
thing.
I throw this away or do I donate it?
Right. So the first time I went through the process of finding my own space was when I got into grad school. And because I was in grad school, the school that I went to, there was no dorm. Like they had like apartments that you could stay in and like use your financial aid to help you pay for the rent. But the rent in these luxury apartments that students were staying in, I'm like, oh no, not for that budget. I'm not paying that much to live there. And then it was saying, oh, you can get a roommate, blah, blah, blah. Like the biggest thing for me, I really wanted to like have the experience of truly being on my own and living by myself. Yeah. Like I grew up staying in the bedroom with my sisters. In college, we had roommates all 4 years. So it was a matter of me finally and truly wanting to live and be on my own. So the first time of me moving to LA, my mom went through the process with me of helping me find a place. So we would research online in comparison to like where would I be living to where the school is. At the time, I didn't have a car, so it was like, how would I be able to get to school? What bus routes would I be able to take that's close enough for me to get to school, get to my classes and everything. And then like some point down the line, yes, of course I would get a car. But as far as the distance, like finding a place, that was important too. So before even going down to LA to look at places, we made a list of addresses that we wanted to check out, called the landlords of the places, saw a few different places, and I believe it was one of the first places that we saw. It was a studio apartment. Me and my mom literally walked in and walked right back out. It was like, this is a room. It was literally a room. I don't even think it was a full kitchen. I don't think there was a closet. It was basically a box. I think it was just space enough for like a small little bathroom, and the amount of money that they wanted for it with that ugly brown carpet on the floor. It was like, no. And I think I got blessed with the place that I did find. It came with my own parking space. It was a 1 bedroom. It was only $900 a month, which was a blessing at that time. This was what, 2013. So the amount that I had to pay, the amount of space I had for my bedroom, I had a balcony. There was a pool in the building. I had wash and dryer was in the building. Like, it was a nice space. It was in a nice area in North Hollywood. So I wasn't too much into nobody's hood, nothing like that. Like, I felt safe enough in the area that I was in, and I only had to catch one bus at the time to get to my classes. Just walk up like 10 minutes to the bus stop and then ride the bus to class every day. So that was like perfect when I first got there. And then after being there for a few months, then I got a car. I drove it back down from the Bay Area back down to LA. But like, the process of that, it was a headache. Me and my mom spent a whole weekend of like driving around, looking at places. What do you like? What do you not like? And then like finally deciding like, okay, like within that same weekend, like deciding like, okay, this is what we're gonna go with. And then deciding that move-in date. And then when I did have my move-in date, spending another weekend I think me and my mom went to IKEA, had everything like shipped to the apartment. So my mom came down, my papa came down, my sister came down, my papa like helped build my furniture. So like this was a family affair. Like, having me moved down into like my first place, making sure I was settled in, cleaning it, going to Target, getting like literally everything I need, pots, pans,
spoons, forks,
like literally everything, like making sure I'm settled into my first place. Like, my first apartment was like, it was everything to me. And when I had to move from that place, it was like one of the hardest things I had to do. Because when I did move, I had ended up having to downsize. I think because after being there, I think every year the rent went up a little bit. So I think by the time I had moved, I was up to like $1,050 instead of that $900 that I had started with. But because I was no longer in school and using my refund check to help me pay for my rent, and I'm like, I'm in the real world now, and I'm making money. My jobs aren't allotting me enough money at that time to help me continue to pay for my rent. So I was like, I needed to find somewhere else. I was basically being evicted, but the eviction didn't go onto my record. I can't remember why. But I had to go to court and everything because my rent I had paid my rent late too many times. So my landlord took me to court. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't keep living like this. I'm struggling, like working my ass off, working 2 jobs, driving, live. I had just started going on all these interviews, working for temp agencies. And then I ended up being blessed. I literally found my next place on the next corner from where I was already living. Next corner. It was a downside, but it was still the right size for me. It was a studio apartment, but the way that it was set up, like, you couldn't even see my bed when you walked into it because of how
that's the one I went to.
It was set up. Have you been to my studio? I think you went to my first apartment.
Okay.
You didn't come back to LA after I had moved to my
I came there in 2015.
Yeah, I was still at the old place.
Okay.
My first place. So the studio apartment, I did have to downsize, get rid of. That was the first time I had like understood the meaning of downsizing. When I first moved out, my mom was like, "No, this is yours. Take everything. You have your own space now. Don't leave nothing here."
Right.
This box of
she want her space.
Right. This box of random mementos. Take this too. This basketball trophy. Take this too.
Seriously.
Like take all your things. I'm turning your room into something else.
Right.
Guest room.
Right.
But that second move that I did, my mom came back down to help me, but it was a matter of downsizing. What are you getting rid of? Because I didn't have the same amount of space that I did. I didn't have a full living room, but I got to keep my couch. I got some of my bedroom furniture I kept, but some of the other things had to go because the way that my space was configured, I just didn't have room for those things. So a lot of my stuff I ended up giving away for people that like needed it, like my bar stools. Didn't have space for bar stools at the new space, so I had to give it away. I didn't have. Oh, that was such a nice first apartment. But I'm grateful for the experience, like the understanding. And I ended up having to pay a little more money. I think instead of that $1,050, I think I was paying like $1,200 or something like that. It was a little more. But on top of that blessing, I ended up getting a full-time job. So it was just like it all kind of like worked itself out at the same time. Me getting full-time work, getting a new place. It was like the start of a new chapter. Like everything happens for a reason. I went through the struggle. I learned like your 20s will do something to you, okay? Yeah. But I'm blessed to have like my family in my life that like helped me in those times of me trying to figure out like how am I going to do this, the things that I need to worry about, and it definitely helped me to learn how to truly budget, especially since me getting a refund check, I budgeted out my rent of how much I was going to pay up until I got my next refund check that next semester, how much I'm paying for groceries, how much I'm paying for gas. Like I had my budget down to a T just to make sure that that money was fleshed out so that I can still have money to do things that I really wanted to do. So that definitely taught me how to save some coins and make sure I didn't have to keep calling home like, can I borrow $100? I mean, I had to call a couple times because I was new to this process of learning how to be on my own, but it taught me well. Life taught me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. I do want to share one more thing. Mm-hmm. So when you were saying about like figuring out what your needs and everything is and taking a bus to work and everything, it drew me back to when I had to decide apartment and public transportation or move out on my own and apartment and public transportation or stay at home and get a car. At that time, I had my green card that I still had in college, and every month I was finding myself at the auto shop because it was always a problem with my car, and it was costing me 700 something, 500 something, and it's like basically taking my money from me. And at that time, I had I had a job that wasn't a walk. Like I couldn't walk there. And then the time of day it would have been me getting up at 4:30 in the morning to catch this bus so that I can get to that bus so that I can get to this other bus to get to work and then backwards. And it's like I would have been using all my hours of the day just working, transportation, and eating and sleeping, like no life. So for me, I like wrote down a list of if I had if I had an apartment, this will be my life. This will be my expensive everything. If I got a car, like a new car, this will be my expenses. This will be everything. So for me at that time, it made sense of getting a car. Like I was even like, if I can't live at home anymore, I can live in my car. My job at that time. If you know me, you know what that job was. But there, they had a shop. They had showers. They had a cafeteria where they can feed us, like all that stuff. So I was like, I have the job that's giving these things. I just need to get to that job. So just like Justin said, like it would be nice if you can buy a house so then you're feeding into it and you're giving it to yourself. But if you're not in that circumstance and you have to choose, for me, just choose what makes sense for you. So for you, you were able to commute. So that you chose the apartment and you had this long life of sharing with sisters, sharing with Yaya, like all these things. So you wanted your own. But me on the flip side, I'm the only girl, so I always had my own room. After I got like out of the stage where I want to sleep with my mom, I always had my own room. I always had my own space until college. So then it was like, now I think the cool thing is a car, but also my car got me to the place where where I was able to make money to be able to suffice for myself. So just whether you're looking for a car, looking for an apartment, looking for a house, looking for a man, a girlfriend, whatever, it's good to have it's good to have your list to write it down and see it in front of you and see for your lifestyle. And I love the keyword that Justin used for right now, what makes sense for what you want and what you need too. So don't think about what other people may see for you or want, because are they paying you the bills? No. Like I remember even when I was looking for my apartment and I found this, it looked nice in the inside. It was like $750 or something. I was like, this is perfect. I could still live my lifestyle, blah blah blah. This is when I first got my first job. And people were like, you living there? Mm-mm. So I let a lot of people's judgments of like, not bougie Yaya. People think I'm bougie, but not bougie Yaya living there. Like, no, you can't live there. But who's gonna help me live elsewhere? Like, this is what I can afford. Right. So just try, like, if you're 20 something now listening to this, or younger, or even older, shoot, like, don't let other people's outside voices get to you, because those outside voices don't pay your bills. No. They don't feed you. They don't make you poop. Like, live for yourself. Live within your means too. Know your lifestyle and go for what it is that you want at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Okay. I'm telling you, like I said before, my 20s taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And embrace those lessons and allow them to help you figure out how you want to move forward.
And speaking of moving forward, now we're gonna move to our next segment, which is
the community news.
You like that?
It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements.
I had to make sure I moved my body this time because last episode you was mad.
Like a scarecrow, just there. Like, why are you just standing there?
I was cute though. But anyway, y'all, we're here.
We are here. You know, I keep wearing a lot of tops like this because I'm like, I can see the results. Look at that. Look at that.
They can't see. They're
Sorry,
listening.
y'all. Y'all gotta tune in and look because y'all gotta see what my arm has. The result of me going to the gym. Look at that.
Yeah, and when I feel more comfortable, I'll show y'all my waist beads dropping. I want to show y'all on the.
I am proud of this shoulder.
And you know what I was thinking about the other day? Like when I was younger, I used to get compliments on my collarbone showing, and I like younger, I was like, it doesn't look gross. But now I'm like, can I get those little bumps back? I can feel it. Yeah, but this is about me.
Sorry.
I could feel it, you know, but now I'm like, I gotta get back to that. I don't want no little turkey meat hanging
like,
around.
like you always down on the two top. Damn right. I worked hard for this upper body.
Okay, we're back for community news. So we want to start off by thanking our special guest. We have, for the first time, a poet coming to give us another lesson
in the same season.
Okay, DJ Khaled. During our Sweet 223 segment, Errio boy, you amazing is not even the word. Like, can you sign a contract to be on our podcast with us because you just like hit it off the park every time. I'm a fan. Like when you write your book, I want a signed copy. Seriously, right. DVD, CD, because I like to hear it. You know, like thank you so much. Dividend. Remember from Fat Hour? Dividend. Yes, DVD, CDs. Oh, they might not have those anymore. But it's okay. Shoot.
You should have Beyonce CD.
I do. I can't wait to get home for my vibe. I'm not excited about my t-shirt, but I got a t-shirt and some of y'all don't. So, anyway, let me get back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like Bow Wow said, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so much. I can't wait to listen to this episode back because it's just like, anyway, I'm a fan. So just like Beyonce sent me a box, send me a box, Ayo, please. Yes, I just love it so much. And we want to say thank you to our brother, Justin. Yes. I didn't expect all that.
I didn't either.
I did not.
I be educated because I know nothing and he knows something, but I was like, what? Come through.
Yeah.
You know what you know.
Like literally, we did not need any questions. Like you did a fantastic job.
Nervous
just like nervous and all, like whatever it was, like phenomenal. If I lived in Georgia.
You know what? I'm just gonna come get some property in Georgia just because you know your league.
He knows his stuff. And even before this podcast, like I remember when I was, not sure about like if I should speak to a realtor now or anything. Justin posts a lot on his Instagram stories about property, about like looking at stuff, flipping, whatever he's doing, and he just repost things too, and it's just like this is so great. So I felt comfortable with asking Justin the question, and I like just from that little bit, I was like, okay, if I ever have questions, I'll go back to Justin and ask him. But this, Justin, another off the park. Like I did not expect that at all.
That's what you do.
Right.
Right.
Okay? So thank you so much. If you're not already, make sure that you follow Errio, make sure that you follow Justin. And if you're looking to buy property in the Georgia area, make sure you do it the right way and contact Justin, okay? Yes. He didn't tell us to say that. I'm like, if you listen to the podcast, if you didn't just scroll down to this part, you know why you should be going along with him. Because some realtors, they don't say anything. And like you should know where your money is going. You should know, like, be educated about the process. And the fact that he sitting on here, like, we're not his clients, we're his friends. So like he's just sharing his information with us and with you. So if you're, like I said, if you're in Georgia, you're looking for property, you're looking to sell your house, whatever it is, make sure that you hit him up and do it the right way.
Absolutely. And then heading to our next announcement, y'all know it is August, and with August or another month, so the new question of the month. And the question of the month for August is, what is your favorite form of relaxation? Relaxation Day is August 15th. So we would like for you all to let us know what you enjoy doing, whether that's shopping, whether that's swimming, whether that's going for a walk or a hike.
Whatever it is.
Show something. Let us know. And we are going to be giving you, just for entering, you're going to be entered to win a what is it called? Our self-love journal, note to self. I cannot believe I almost forgot our own product. See, anywho, but yes, you'll be entered to win our self-love journal, note to self, and you can also use that as a form of relaxation.
Yeah,
gentlemen, for those of you that have been using it, let the people know how much you enjoy using note to self.
Yes, and speaking of the word enjoy, or using the word enjoy, if you enjoy our podcast, if you enjoy anything that we sell, our merch from the books to the apparel and our lovely mug, please leave a comment down below, send us a DM. We've been taking reviews before, but we stopped for a moment. So if you have any review that we can share with people, please share with us so that we can post it on our website and our social media outlets, so that people don't think that we're just making this stuff up about ourselves.
Right.
And also, if you enjoy our podcast, whether you're watching or you're listening, please share the link. I share podcasts all the time, especially if it's just not like, oh, this is a podcast that I listen to. Make sure you listen to it, just because, no, like I sent you a podcast the other day because I thought it was relevant information, and I'll send like, hey, you might like this interview. The interview starts at this time frame. So even if you do that, we don't care. Just share the knowledge with people. Share through text messages, whatever platform that you're using. Just help us get out there.
Yes, and as we have been asking, as far as getting us out there, if you know of an event, an open mic, please let us know so that we can be there to attend the networking event. I don't know.
Anything that you think we'll enjoy,
exactly.
Let us know.
Our faces need to be pop-up shop. We still want to get into vending more events. And then somewhere down the line, inviting y'all to have to come to one of our events. Like, we're just super excited about the things that Love Loud have in store for the future. And in the meantime and in between time, let us know where we can be so our faces can be seen and y'all can mix and mingle with the best friend duo, okay?
Thank you so much, y'all, for tuning into our 13th episode?
14th. We
got 14th episode. Yes, thanks for tuning in with us for this third season, 14th episode with Love Loud. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And
on that note,
we will see y'all in 2 weeks.
Stay black.
Stay proud.